drapes open?
The best of films invite discussion. They invite interpretation and questions and differing opinions. You want to see them multiple times, and every time you do, you learn something new. Like the best books, a really great movie can mean different things at different points in your life. They don't need to be overtly complicated or ambiguous for you to discuss them at length. Everybody agrees that Citizen Kane is great, but the character of Charles Foster Kane is open to discussion. Did he ever really believe in his own declaration of principles? Did he ever really care about Paul Susan Alexander? How much of him is Hearst? How much Wells? And movies don't need to be flawless to be great. One really doesn't need to strive for a Kubrickian idea of perfection to achieve masterpiece status. Godfather 1 is full of little mistakes. Some well known, like this stage punch here. Some less well known, like this extra backing out of shot. Or the fact that Fredo here is being played by a stand-in and not John Cazale. And who the hell are those bearded guys walking through the hotel lobby, clearly not in period clothing? Godfather 2 may have less careless mistakes, but it still has some questionable loopholes as far as plot is concerned. Why would Danny Aiello ever say,
"Michael Corleone," when he says hello?
When he intends to kill Frankie Pentangeli and has been ordered to do so by Hyman Roth? Yes, I know. It's so Pentangeli could think Michael tried to kill him, which then puts him in a corner, which forces him to go to the FBI to testify against Michael. Except that this was never meant to be some master plan by Hyman Roth, he just wanted to kill him.
Michael Corleone, when he says hello.
So why would Danny Aiello ever say that? And why the hell are the drapes open? We're led to believe that the drapes are open so that an assassin can machine gun Michael in his room. Fair enough. Except who actually physically opened the drapes so that the assassins with the machine guns could machine gun him in his room? Who went in there and physically opened the drapes? Was it the assassins themselves? Well, if that's the case, why didn't they just wait in his room to kill him? If they could get into his bedroom to open the drapes, why go through this elaborate machine gunning through the window? Why not just shoot him in his own room when he comes in? Wait in the bathroom or the closet? If it wasn't them, and they had someone on the inside open it, maybe somebody dressed as a waiter, maybe an extra guest at the party, why did they assume that someone wouldn't close the drapes before Michael came into his room? Like a maid. Or Kay. She's lying in bed. How did they know she wasn't just going to close the drapes? Then their whole plan would be foiled. Based on what? The fact that the curtains are closed? That makes no sense. You'd think that Hyman Roth would have a slightly more airtight plan than trying to assassinate Michael based on whether or not his curtains are going to be left open.
It was Hyman Roth that tried to have me killed.
Maybe Fredo opened the curtains. Maybe Johnny Ola and Hyman Roth said, "Hey, why didn't you just open the curtains before you go to bed? There'll be something in it for you.
He said there was something in it for me.
It'll be helping the family business, I guess. I mean, why would Fredo ever think that? Which then makes us think that Fredo maybe isn't so innocent after all.
I know it was you, Fredo.
And if Fredo really isn't so innocent after all, then he knew what he was doing. If he knew what he was doing, then he knew it was going to be a hit, despite what he says.
I didn't know it was going to be a hit, Mike.
So maybe we shouldn't feel sorry for Fredo. I mean, this questions the whole of the relationship between Michael and Fredo. Up until I thought about this drapes question, I always thought Fredo was kind of stupid and was taken advantage of, but didn't realize they were going to try and kill Michael.
He's got a good heart. But he's weak, and he's stupid.
But if he's the guy that opened the curtains, there really is no reason why he would open the curtains unless he knew they were going to kill him. I mean, he must have figured that part out. Why else would they ask him to open the curtains? And also, who kills the machine gunners? Is it Fredo? Is he really that implicit in all this?
You guys lied to me. I don't want you to call me anymore.
How much else does he know? How long has he been involved? What do we really know about Fredo?
He was banging cocktail waitresses 2 at a time.
Maybe he's the one who's been pulling the strings all along. Did he really panic when his dad got shot? Or did he just pretend to drop the gun? I mean, who really drops the gun like that anyway? You notice how Fredo maneuvers himself to get sent to Nevada the minute Salotto gets shot? Coincidence? You tell me. Alright. Clearly we've gone way off topic. Once starts going down these paths, there's no telling where they end. And for the record, no, I don't think Fredo opened the drapes, and I don't think he knew it was going to be a hit. Yes, I agree with Michael's assessment that he was weak and he's stupid. That he meant well, but was jealous and got manipulated. But does it really matter? Does Fredo's involvement add or subtract from the overall enjoyment? No. Do we pity Fredo when he gets shot? Yes. Are we meant to? Yes. Are there gaping questions to do with this subplot? Clearly. But so what? Godfather 2 is so brilliant on so many other levels that frankly, the holes in the plot really don't matter. These first two films are so rich and so layered, so full of myth and texture, excitement and scale, so beautifully lit and shot and written and directed and paced and acted. Christ, have you ever seen a better cast film than the first two Godfathers? No, you haven't. Even the FBI man is played by the great Harry Dean Stanton, for God's sake, and I defy anyone to name a movie which captures the family dynamic better. A movie that feels more like a real family. When I watch these guys, I totally believe in every way that this guy's the younger brother of this guy, and that he's his dad, and that they grew up with these guys together, and they've known each other for years, and it completely makes sense that Tessio and Clemenza, for example, are apprehensive of Michael, who's never been around. Off to boarding school and college, why wouldn't they be apprehensive of him? While in the meantime they have complete faith in Sonny. Because they watched him grow up, because he was present when they themselves were forging their business. It all makes sense, and it doesn't need to be explained to us. Just the way they behave around each other shows us the ease that they have with some and the hang-ups they have with others, like we all do with all families. It's perfect. I've never seen anything like it, in fact.
I never wanted this for you.
And at the end of the day, it's all down to Francis Ford Coppola. He was the mastermind that just somehow managed to fit all the right pieces together and make this magnum opus. And because he did it so brilliantly twice, I can understand why he thought, hey, maybe, perhaps, I could achieve it again for a third time. But he couldn't. Instead, it was as if he couldn't put a foot right. And maybe that comes from simply deciding to do something just for the money, and only that.
I really started to feel I owed it to my wife to make some money and put it away for her and to preserve our home. And so I chose to do it.
And so he left us with an unwashable stain on what was otherwise a perfect saga. And maybe it's not just that he only did it for the money. Maybe it's to do with age as well. A 30-something-year-old man struggling to put food on the table whilst trying to start up a new company, whilst also paying off a debt to Warner Brothers, is obviously going to take a high-paying studio job, which a Godfather always was. But he's got the energy to do something interesting with it. To say, so what? I'm here for the money, but damn it, while I'm in charge, I'm going to try and do something special. And that was always Coppola's winning trump card. That no matter what, even when he failed, his films for a very long period were always interesting to behold. But when you're older and you're more tired, naturally more lazy, more cynical perhaps, you've lost some of that fight. And maybe some of your way, perhaps some of your genius. So then doing something just for the money reeks of mediocrity, and the damage done by Part 3 to the first two Godfathers is worse than any other sequel to date, including the abominable Star Wars prequels and Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. With Part 3, it's as if Coppola made us the most perfect 6-course feast ever, and then at the very end gave us a tablespoonful of dog shit to swallow. No matter how good the rest of the meal was, that dog shit's just ruined it for you. And if you think about the existence of this film, it's liable to ruin what came before it. And so, as this overblown and overlong review comes to an end, all I can really say to sum up is that if you haven't already seen it, then I hope you'll never have to suffer through Godfather 3, and that this review, if nothing else, has convinced you not to ever bother with it. And if you have unfortunately sat through it, and perhaps even defended on occasion, I hope that this has proved that it really is as bad a movie as all that, and that, no, it's not misunderstood, and it's not underrated at all. And so, I'd like you to promise never to watch Part 3 again. Instead, go get your copies of the first two films, put them in, sit back, relax, and watch them again.